right, welcome back to another episode of TT Talks. Today we have Mr. Nspire sharing with us his story, his journey, his brand. Mr. Nspire is a father, a military vet, and a history lover. So let's get into it. Okay. So Mr. Nspire, tell me about where you're from. Where'd you grow up?
I'm from a land far. No, I grew up I was born in a small town, Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Actually, let me get this right, because a lot of people always say they from Chicago because it's Chicago.
Right.
I was actually born in Chicago Heights.
Okay.
So if anybody, if you know, you know.
Yes.
So I was born in Chicago Heights. Spent some of my childhood in Chicago, but my mom passed away when I was like 5.
Okay.
So we ended up moving with my grandmother out into the northwest suburbs.
Okay.
And then from there, I ended up moving because I was a knucklehead in high school. And so we ended up moving to Racine, Wisconsin. So shout out to Racine.
Nice.
And that's when we really start growing up. So my upbringing is obviously born Chicago Heights, so that's my heart. I always, family still live in Chicago, but I also, grew up in Racine, Wisconsin. So it's like that mix, and that was like a little Chicago anyways.
Okay. Racine sounds cold. Is that cold? That sounds like it's cold.
I mean, Chicago cold, so
okay.
it's right.
Yes.
You just went up more north, so it just got more colder in Wisconsin.
Exactly.
So.
I was like, that sounds cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you decide to join the military?
That's an interesting question, because I don't know if I decided to join the military more so than I was online one day and I'm just scrolling and a pop-up came up and I think I put my email in and they emailed me.
Wow.
And somebody said something about, what if I give you $20,000? And so I was motivated to join.
Gotcha.
It was money up front? Okay, yeah,
that's a
definitely.
big motivator.
Definitely. But it was the branch, I didn't go out and the Marine Corps popped up.
Okay.
And that's what made me do it, because they good with challenging you with these commercials and with their emails. It's do you want to just be sitting around doing nothing? You're like, no. And so it was the challenge of being a Marine that I wanted to do, because
I've always heard the Marines are the toughest. Is that true?
Yeah, when you're thinking of if we're talking about just regular branches, outright Army, Navy, our boot camp is the longest. It's the toughest.
Yeah.
Before you get into the specializations of Navy, SEALs, all of that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, Marines, we leathernecks, we devil dogs. So
okay.
Shout out to all my Marines out there.
Yes. So how long were you actively in the Marines?
What was it? I think 8 years.
8 years.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's a big commitment.
Yeah, it is. Actually, let's get this out the way, really.
Yeah.
So when I went to join the Marines, at this time, I joined during war. So
wow.
It wasn't, I think that commitment's different. I didn't think of it like that. I swear. I didn't think and say, I want to go join and fight for my country. That is not what happened. So I'm not going to sit here and cap to you yeah, I was Mr. No. It was I knew I needed to do something.
And you need to get that money.
Yeah, but it had to be a challenge. I can't just get money
So it was perfect for you because it was a challenge.
Yes.
You could get money.
Yes.
And
I was going to do something that was going to make you a badass.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
I see it. I see it.
But at that time, what I didn't know was, for me to get this bonus, I was signed on as a reservist.
Okay.
So I didn't find this out until boot camp. And I'm I don't know what none of this stuff is. So what I found out was, active duty meant I was going to live on a base for the rest of my contract, 4 years, North Carolina or, California.
Okay.
But with the reserves, after boot camp, after SOI training, which is School of Infantry training, I go back home. That was different.
Gotcha.
And so the reason why I'm highlighting that is because a lot of people don't understand this dynamic. Being a reservist, that gets called to, that's with an active unit. So we got called to war. So that was I had to volunteer for that.
Wow.
But it was more of a challenge for me because, and I want to just highlight this because a lot of people don't understand that dynamic, so they don't get that respect.
Yeah.
We think of reservists, and it's like, oh,
you're a weekend.
Yeah, you're a weekend.
That's always what we were told.
Yeah, true. But the unit that I was with was, look, we historic. It was like they got the name Devil Dog in World War II, so
yeah.
They had put a stamp, and what happened was they deactivated. So we got activated during war, and we were called over with the active units. Gotcha. So we were over there at the same time in the same space, Marja, when it was going down. So I just want to put that out there because I don't like just the one side always being told. And when you said how long was I active, I kind of felt like, hold on, man, I'm not being truthful. Yeah. Like, let me tell you what it really was. Like, we got active for a whole year. Right. So imagine me being at home with my kids, and then it was in Afghanistan.
Gotcha.
That's a different commitment than you're active, you're doing this daily. Yeah, this weekend warriors, we had to go over there based off a weekend, and we held our own. We're in the history books again.
Wow.
You know, so
a real challenge.
For sure. I want to just shout out that, because it's not as easy doing that. That's like Superman to me. We had to take off college hats and dad hats and career hats and go fight overseas in a war for a year and not know what was going to happen, you know. So I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I would have just, my cousin was in the military, so I just think of people just going off and being somewhere, like you said, station to station. I never think about the people who are sitting at home and then you just got to go. Right. Like, that's scary.
And not every active duty person gets active. I want y'all to understand that. Like, we deployed as reservists. Okay. And we got busy, but it's a lot of active duty members that never deploy. Don't get it. That's why I said, like, if you hear it one way, you think, oh, y'all didn't do nothing. But then when you realize, like, wait, you have more time over in country in a war zone than active duty members.
Gotcha.
Yes. And it's like,
that sounds like special ops a little bit.
That's what it felt like. It was like, bro, they called me on the weekend, and I had to get
like, let's do this. Where our stones at? Okay, so what's your biggest lesson you learned from being in the Marines?
The biggest lesson I learned from being in, like, overall, or just
like something you took with you that you said, like, you're gonna implement this in like every area of your life, like from being a soldier, like something you took away that like really was interesting to you that just stuck with you and you still use it today.
Correction, we not soldiers. That's the Army.
Sorry, a Marine. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing that I learned when you just said that, it jumped out, is we go by basically a motto, which no Marine is left behind. So we don't do the whole, bam, you got hit, and now we keep going. No, we right here, and we're taking him with us, dead or alive. Right. We ain't leaving nobody behind. So I took that with me, because internally that was like my mindset. That to me that's family. Like, we stick together. You know, what's coming into my mind now is growing up watching a lot of black cinema. You hear like a family that prays together, stays together. That to me is like unity. So when I heard, you know, never leave a Marine behind, it was like, oh, facts. Right. That means I'm not worried, because I know y'all got me. Exactly. Even if I'm dead and gone, I know they gonna get me back. And it's not universal like that. You don't always hear that with not just other branches, but even business, like, whose motto is that I'm gonna always be there for you, and I'm not gonna leave you behind. That to me was powerful. Like, okay,
exactly.
I fucks with that to this day.
I like that. Okay. So after serving, like, what did you want to do? Like, after you were done, like, finished with the reserves, or you did your time, what did you think you were gonna do next after becoming after your Marine experience?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
You didn't plan that far?
No, I didn't think that I thought there was going to be that I was going to be a Marine. Like, gotcha. I wanted to, after coming back from Afghanistan, like, I wanted to go active. So I was trying to get active. I was trying to go on more deployments. Gotcha. But what happened was, you know, politics. Okay. You know, it was a drawdown. So a lot of the people I went overseas with and I served with, it was getting pushed out. I'm talking about, like, you had people with 3 years left on their contract getting bought out. Like, get out of here.
Oh, wow.
And people was doing it. Yeah. But at the same time, that's what made it change for me, because the people that you came with wasn't around no more, and I'm not gonna stick around and everybody done left.
It was about the family aspect for you. Yeah.
So once everybody started leaving and my hierarchy was gone, it was all right. Now I gotta find something to do, and that's the part where it's like, I think a lot of us veterans, once we get out, the transition, that's the wilderness. That's what we don't know about.
Yeah.
Like, you think about it, you can't wait to leave country, you can't wait to get out. Then you do, and you're so used to doing something one way. Now you step out here and you're like, wait a minute, y'all don't even relate to me the same way. If I tell you a joke, it's not gonna be as funny to you. You're gonna look at me a certain type of way. So I had to honestly recalibrate. I didn't do anything. I had to figure it out, learn myself before I could do something, because I wasn't going to be a policeman. I knew that. I had the opportunity to be a fireman, but I guess I didn't want to do that. It didn't motivate me. It didn't light a fire to say, let me go do.
The feeling that when you wanted to join the Marines wasn't there for the police and the fire department.
Right, it was different. It was like a different commitment, and it was for a different reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to continue that. I didn't want to, like, when you train for war, then you want me to come back and be a police officer?
Yeah.
No, because you know what I was just trained for?
Exactly.
I can't pull you over.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that. And so once I saw that.
For you to know that, like, because some of them come back and they are police officers.
No, a lot of us come back. That's why I told you. That was the one place, like, when you came back, it was, hey, we got a spot for you.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, that didn't sit right with me, because the word conscious, right? I was always like that. So I was in Afghanistan conscious, looking around.
Yeah.
Like, all right, being mindful, talking to people. I'm like, I didn't want to go over there and knock people's heads off, because I had been through that.
Yeah.
I was like shot at as a kid, I almost died, just sitting in my house.
Oh no.
So you think I'm going overseas to be like, yeah, let's shoot up some people. Right. Nah, bro, I'm not going over here for that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna come back and say I want to be gung-ho too. At the time I'm coming back, you got Tamir Rice happen. You know, that impacted me more than anything. So I knew for a fact, if I was gonna be, that I was gonna be one of those officers that's like trying to make a change.
Yes.
And then once I saw how they was treated, I said, you're not gonna do that to me. So I'm not even gonna go over there playing, because if I go over there, I'm gonna have to change some shit. And if I'm not able to do that, I'm not even gonna. I'll just avoid it. Stay in my lane.
Smart. Okay. All right. So when did you start to feel inspired? Like, what motivated you to launch your brand?
To be honest, the inspire part didn't come till later.
Okay.
So what was there in the beginning was losers.
Okay.
And so it started as, let me back. You asked me what I wanted to do when I came back. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, but what I fell in love with was expression. So music. Okay. So we had started like a music group, and that's what we was calling ourselves, LIE Losers. Gotcha. Because we identify with that as black men, you know, veterans, et cetera, we like, yeah, we losers.
Gotcha.
And at the time, like a movie that came out called Losers, and it was an action movie. So we really was running with that. And so it started with music and an expression. And then later on, when that kind of broke down, you know, it's like, all right, we did this for a short amount of time. And I was actually serious with it. I wanted to keep doing it, so I kept going. I kept the Losers alive, the LIE. And then it just, I think that's when I became inspired, when I saw it could be more than that. And I was just, I don't know what I was doing, but one day, it wasn't just losers no more, like, haha, we losers. It was an acronym, and I was like, it's like I saw it clearly, like, wait a minute. Like, we're not losers because we lose, we're losers because we learn from that and begin to win. So it's the opposite. And then I started seeing examples, like, in the world, like, wait, that's all really everything is, because the people we started to look up to was, they had the story of having to make something out of nothing. That's a loser. Like, but then we'll make fun of you for being, it was like this double standard that I said, all right.
I've always heard you have to lose to win.
Right.
Because if you always win, You ain't gonna never know what it feels like to lose.
Right,
and who gonna grow.
And whoever, like, who really won forever? Where does that? I never saw an example of that, but I saw examples of people who lost, and you know, they won. And then what I wanted to know was what happened, like what changed when you was losing, and how you winning, like Tom Brady.
Yes.
It was like Tom Brady went to Michigan. He was a scrawny kid.
Right.
He was like a 5th round draft. He was not highly touted. Nobody looked at him and said, he's going to be great. He was overlooked.
Yeah.
And he worked and worked and worked, and now he became one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He inspires you.
Yes.
His story. So once I start seeing that and those examples, it was like, damn, losers do inspire. But what inspired me was us. Like it was our story. The story of being black in America and in the world.
Yes.
I started seeing how I was told, educated, you ain't came from nothing.
Exactly.
It's almost like, y'all ain't had nothing.
Yes.
Thankful that we gave y'all something. I was just like, damn.
Right.
But then I started seeing the people that it wasn't even that I looked up to. I started seeing where you start seeing other cultures, you start seeing other races utilize the words of people I was looking up to. Why y'all using what Malcolm X said? And
yes.
Stokely Carmichael and
yes.
Martin Luther King. I said, hold on. I saw how that inspired other people across the world to say, we want our independence. What we did helped inspire Africa to gain independence in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
Help inspire India to gain independence. And I said, wait a minute, what the hell?
Yes.
We are the losers, but damn.
When I visited the National African American Museum in DC, when you get through all the history, because you kind of go through like a timeline, and when you get to the end, it tells you like the black movement inspired all these movements.
Oh, it say that.
Yes, and it's like Chicano power, like you said, Africa, like all the people who started fighting for their rights.
Yeah.
Because we started fighting for our rights.
Right.
And I love that. So losers definitely inspire.
Right.
That's amazing. So you've already explained what a loser is. What's the acronym again?
So the acronym LOSERS, LOSERS, love, outreaching, set expectations, rewarding self.
Yes.
Because that's truly what it's about. Like that was the separator. When you use this term and you're like, you're a loser, and people are like, oh man, you don't want to be called that because you don't want to be demeaned. But if you actually are in the mind of that individual, they don't love losing. Is you crazy?
Right.
They're sitting here like, all right, what happened? We going home like, how did I lose? You know what? I'm going to figure it out. And when I figure it out, I'm going to put it together. And when I put it together, y'all in trouble.
Exactly.
So we're always looking for the switch. And that mentality is different from what I would call how I want to see it. I don't want to see people being discouraged by the word loser. I want that to be a term of like endearment. So yeah, okay, cool. Because you're going to see me. That means you're going to see me win. I'd rather see it like I'd rather you be afraid to be called a lame. Because for me, that's another acronym for me, which it means like lazy, always making excuses. So somebody who I see lose, I'm like, it's like you fell down.
Yeah.
You gonna laugh at that person? Ha ha, you fell.
Right.
Versus the person that's just sitting there and they ain't even gonna try it to begin with. Laugh at that person.
Exactly.
Like you're laughing at me, but you won't even. You're too afraid to do this.
At least I'm trying. I'm putting in the effort. You're just sitting back watching what everybody else doing.
And you're laughing at them, right? Like that's.
I like that lame. What was lame again?
Lazy, always making excuses.
I love that. Okay. So where can we find you online? Like where can we like get your merchandise? Like
the best place is gonna be Instagram, and I say that because you can centralize there.
Yeah.
So my links you can follow right there.
Gotcha.
But you can go to LIEFINSPIRE.com. So lifeinspire.com, and my website will pull up.
Gotcha.
And then you can check out the services that we have available. But go to Instagram at Mr.NSPIRE_1295 and follow those links. You can get the merch, the Life Inspire merch.
Yes.
And then you can get links to the website as well. So
awesome. Now, do you also do a podcast type of deal with your show? Like you talk to us?
I do. So I have like Wisdom Wednesdays.
Okay.
On the Noom Vibe app.
Yes.
So Noom Vibe, NOOMVIB. And so I talk every Wednesday around like 7:30ish.
Yes.
You know the ish, cause and that's Central Standard Time.
Right.
I get on there and I just kind of, it's part of the Nspire brand. So if you see me on Instagram, we have Motivate Mondays.
Okay.
Which we start the week off with motivation.
Yes.
Because a lot of people say Mondays suck, right? Like they hate Monday.
I'm that person.
So if you can start Monday off with, basically like a boost of energy,
yes,
now that carries you into Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday, we have Wisdom Wednesdays, because we're taking the motivation from Monday and we're breaking that down on Wednesday, giving you some wisdom, some insight to carry you through. And then that's why we have the discussions. And then after that, we have Lie Day, well, live inspired every day for Friday. So where your self-expression, self-love, stuff like that. So
I love it. Every time I hear your words and motivation, it makes me think deeper. Like, it's like sometimes you just hear a quote and you're like, yeah, but yours make me think like, I never thought of it like that. So that's why I like listening to yours. And I downloaded the Noom app, so y'all download the Noom app because it's really good. It's easy to navigate, and like you don't really have to post. You just set up and you can go and follow other people. So I love the Noom app. So definitely check him out. So I'm gonna switch a little bit. I'm gonna change gears. So we're both a part of Dr. Wade's book club, right? So what inspired you to join Dr. Wade's book club?
What did inspire me to join Dr. Wade's book club? So shout out to Catalyst, because that's the Meta Catalyst, like that's exactly what it was. It was a catalyst. I met him, and that opened the door.
Awesome.
And once I moved to Texas, he was like, I don't even know how it happened. It's one of those surreal things. I think we just tapped in. It's like, yo, you in Texas? He invited me to the food park. Shout out to and the food park. Because all these things connect, like community connects. And we really understand how it goes. So stop sitting at home talking about ain't nothing happening. You got to actually get out in community.
You got to get out and meet the people.
So from Nick, I go to the food park. Dr. Wade was at the food park.
Gotcha.
And then she was at the food park after dark event that we did, which was like the music entertainment.
Yes.
And then it was 2 peas in a pod. I saw her there selling books, and I'm just like, everywhere I go, you keep And now she was like, I do a book club.
Okay.
And then I just showed up to the first one.
Gotcha. So it's all about being in community and just being aware of who you're running into. Gotcha. So what's the most interesting thing you've learned about history?
I think the most interesting thing that I learned about history is history. It's like, it's the fact that you can realize, damn, ain't nothing new under the sun. Like, we really think we doing something new that my great grandparents wasn't doing. It's like, boy, nah. You got a cell phone, that's new. Social media, they ain't have Facebook, but what I'm seeing now is if you're not tapped into history, you lost. Because there's no anchor. You like, yeah, I'm the first person to ever do this.
Exactly.
And then you see some other people doing it and you're like, wait, they stole my. No, you might be a progression. And if you actually tap into history, somebody probably messed up what you're trying to fix, or vice versa, fix what you messed up. But there's lessons that we're avoiding. So best thing I learned about history was history.
Yeah. That's good to know. So how has being a father impacted your brand? Are your children a part of like the inspiration, or like, how you set things up for your brand?
They are the inspiration.
Okay.
And so, all right, let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
So again, I come home from Afghanistan, and then we start the music group, right? And we're called Losers. That's like 2012.
Gotcha.
So you understand, I've been growing this for like 10 years. But within the last 5, it really turned into what it is now. But within the last 3. So the pandemic changed a lot.
Definitely.
And so that's when I had the Losers Inspire. But now the Nspire brand, that's why I said they are the inspiration behind that, because what happened was we had a family. The home is broken. Once that happened, that's when I started to get this perspective of living inspired. That was my greatest loss.
Yeah.
So I became the loser that I kept talking about the whole time.
Gotcha.
So I had to prove that I was going to outreach those set expectations, which is, oh, you're going to be a deadbeat dad, father who ain't doing nothing, or just another black man lost in the system.
Right.
So it's like, you got me fucked up, number one, because that's not who I am. And then not being able to see my kids, I don't ever want it to, like, that shit bother me.
Right.
Because I don't want it to ever get twisted like that. That's okay.
Exactly.
Like, that shit bothers us every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of men around me that feel the same way. So I don't have the surroundings where I see deadbeat dads. Like, I see dads who got opportunities taken from them. Because maybe we didn't have it all figured out at that moment.
Right.
Get it? But for that to happen and for that to be taken away from me, you know, and it was under my own influence, because things that I did caused that. But that's what I took personal. It was like, okay, so now I'm going to be an example, because maybe I took that for granted, that time with y'all. So now I'm gonna be an inspired man. So that's where the never stop prospering. It requires effort daily, because I committed to, I need to put in the effort daily, because I got a son, I got 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Do I want them to go get a man like, I can't even say what I used to be, right, Elaine? Or do I want to go get or do I want them to see somebody who's inspired, who can take a loss and say, all right, this won't break me, it's gonna make me into something even greater.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay.
So shout out to my kids.
Yeah, shout out to them. They look just like you. What knowledge do you hope to pass on to your children?
Just that shit, ain't no such thing as loss that you can't overcome. Like, so all right, we lost, and now let's get in them books and find a lesson from that, because that's all we care about. It's not about, oh, you know, it's over. And you know, one of my daughters, she plays volleyball, and you know, one of the tournaments she took real hard. Like, they lost in the championship, and she just, like, I saw her chin up, she was strong, and then I just saw it coming, that look, somebody said something to her like, it's okay, you'll get them next time. And I saw it. I was like, see, you ain't never been an athlete, so you don't know that. I wasn't even thinking about it till you said that lip quiver happened. Yes. And it was like, that was the moment that I felt like, this is what I want to pass on to y'all. Okay, let this moment not define you in the sense of, see, I can never do anything right. Too many kids get shut down because of that mindset. You take a loss and now you're like, see, I suck, or I'm no good. And it's like, no. Look, this what your left foot went too far that way. If you just bring it over this, and if you know it's something simple, you can adjust. Right. If you never know you can adjust, you won't. Exactly. And so that's all it is. It's like just letting them know that it's an adjustment. Yeah. There's no loss that you cannot overcome. Find a lesson, and we're going to inspire from it.
See, and that's what I be listening to on that Noom app. I see, you just made me go deep again. I'm like, you talk about your kids, but I just got a lesson. Okay, so as a black man and a father, what do you do to stay inspired?
Ooh. So, how I stay inspired as a black man and as a father is by recognizing, accepting, understanding, and accepting that duty of what it means to be a black man and a father. Yeah. I don't run from that. So I don't look at it as, oh, I'm black so somebody can take something. No, that's power, bro. Like, I don't think a lot of us understand that. And this is no shade to no other races, because I'm not Asian, I'm not white, I don't know that. Right. But as a black man, when you look around and you see the stories of, bro, you ain't had nothing. Yeah. So the fact that I got shoes on my feet right now was like, boy, that's a story of overcoming obstacles. And if you remind yourself of that, the overcoming obstacles, looking at powerful role models, you're not going to see the stuff they want you to see of, oh, people want to talk about black on black crime and why the hood is like this. But that's what inspires me, because I know one side of it is you got to be careful going into hoods where you're not from. Yeah. You got to be careful going into countries you're not from.
Exactly.
You got to be careful going to people's house if that ain't your house.
Be careful.
Right. But when you know that, then that's how you operate. It's not a careful, it's not a scared. It's like, well, if I'm coming, I'm not going there for no reason. You live there, so I'm coming there because you there.
Right.
And what I started to see was, no matter where it is in America, what hood you come from, when we see each other, and I haven't seen this with other races, we speak. There's like this, man, it's so powerful. Like, we'll go the hardest neighborhoods, pants sagging. He just got through cussing somebody out. I hold the door. What's up, bro?
Exactly.
What's up? You be like, hey, so I don't know.
I got you, little sis.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know everybody else's experience, so I'm just noticing, like, well, mine different, because when I interact with people, like, you get the knuckleheads, but I'm seeing a lot of elders that's, thank you, young brother. How you doing? We nodding, we doing stuff. And I go into other neighborhoods, they don't even look at you. You hold the door, they might not even say nothing.
Exactly.
So what inspires me is remembering the higher levels that we have attained, like the higher understanding of who we are, not the lower, just looking at us as like the physical, just where you live and your possessions. Bro, you way bigger than that. There's a lot of people that couldn't even live in the climate that you live in and have your mindset where your mama can tell you positive things and your grandma can be positive when you ain't got nothing to eat and the lights off.
Waiting on that food stamp.
Facts. So that's what inspires me, is remembering my grandma tell me, not even tell me, just watching her, like, she raised not just 4 boys, she raised generations, multiple. We done had 3 generations in my house at the same time, little kids to adults. She don't got the money for this, and she making it happen.
Exactly. Whole meal for everybody.
Whole meal for like, how you doing this shit? And then I catch her like at nighttime just praying, God give me the strength, and I'm like, but I don't see, you don't break down in front of us like that.
Not at all.
Where's that damn strength? That's when I want that strength to come back.
Exactly. That's good. That's great. Okay. All right, so we're gonna end it right here. This was such a great interview. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining TT Talks. I feel so inspired. Like, every time I hear you talk, like I said, it makes me go deeper. So I appreciate you being here. And to my followers, y'all stay tuned. More interviews, more hair updates, all of that coming soon to TT Shaved It All Off.
Hey.
Happiness is the key to success. Stardust in the building. Let's go.